The house Negro and the field Negro.
Are you sorry for the hurt that your post caused people?
I take my responsibility for posting that. Some things that were questionable in there, untrue. Like I said, in the first time you guys asked me when I was sitting on that stage, I don't believe everything that everybody posts. It's a documentary, so I take my responsibility.
It seems like Adam Silver wanted to hear the words, "I apologize," or in your mind, you said, "I didn't mean to cause any harm." Were you apologizing, or did you not apologize?
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
Negros got too much out of line. He held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?"
I think Adam should have suspended him. First of all, Adam's Jewish. You can't take my $40 million and insult my religion. If you're gonna insult me, you have the right, but I have the right to say, no, you're not gonna take my $40 million and insult my religion.
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
I think the NBA, they made a mistake. We have suspended people and fined people.
This ain't the way, man.
But you know, I know there's a reason.
People like me talk to the slaves. They didn't kill him. They sent some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he said.
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
Well, we as humans, none of us are perfect, but I hope he understands how, what he did or the actions that he took was just harmful to a lot of people. I really didn't get into it too much, but I understand that when you hurting anybody, I understand that. That is just common sense.
This ain't the way, man.
Field Negroes got too much out of line. He held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation.
I try to make people happy. I try to make people smile. My formula has always been the same. 60% to make you laugh, 30% to inspire you, and 10% whatever I'm selling. You have to be aware of what you're doing. And you have to be aware that sometimes when you put stuff out, not everybody's gonna like it. Some people are conscious, some people are not. I can tell he's not conscious, he doesn't really care what's going on. But us, I know that the game that we used to love and we promote, it brings people together. And it hurts me sometimes when we have to sit up here to talk about stuff that divides the game. Now we got to answer for what this idiot has done.
You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. They'd send some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he said.
But Kyrie, I don't even know if you know who Craig Hodges is, but you better be careful.
They told me was I told our PR person that I had a letter for the president, and when I told him that, he said he would find out the proper protocol, and they told me that I couldn't hand anything directly to the president. So I gave a letter to the press secretary and they said he would get it to the president, but I never had any response back. But I told him when we took pictures and we were shooting in the Rose Garden, I told him that I had wrote a letter and I gave it to his press secretary, and I would appreciate it if he considered what was written in the letter. And he was cool, man. He was like, he was surprised that I wrote a letter. He was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah, when you get a chance, I hope you get a chance to read it."
Bright white dashiki, type of clothes which was uncommonly seen in the White House. I wanted it to be on the record that I came in a certain manner that was respectful but also mindful, where I come from and where I want my people to be. After shooting a series of shots from the perimeter of the basketball court in the White House backyard, Hodges fulfilled the most important mission of his life. He approached the president's press secretary and handed over letters with the details of the problems which were and still are plaguing the African American community. The purpose of this note is to speak on behalf of the poor people, Native Americans, homeless, and most specifically the African Americans, who are not able to come to this great edifice and meet the leader of the nation where they live. This letter is not begging for anything, but 300 years of free slave labor has left the African American community destroyed. It is time for a comprehensive plan for change. Hopefully, this letter will help become a boost in the unification of inner city youth, and these issues will be brought to the forefront of the domestic agenda. After delivering that note that summer, Hodges' career took a swift turn. He believes that the brave action he took on that special day did cause the eventual repercussion, as there is belief that the NBA blackballed him because of his political beliefs. After he had won his second NBA title, Hodges got a call from Bulls' Jerry Krause. He said, "Thanks for looking out after the younger guys on the team, like I was a damn babysitter." Then he said, "We're gonna have to let you go." And just like that, the playing career of Craig Hodges came to a halt.
If you don't know who he is, Mike, you need to reach out to him and have a conversation. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
This ain't the way, man.
But you know, I know there's a reason behind all of this.
Yo, and I know what the reason is, man. The house Negro and the field Negro.